was the scene in Minneapolis this morning, and it's heading our way overnight. Captain Rich Luderman will have our forecast.
And now you're telling me there's something wrong with the water?
If you spent time at Belle Isle Beach this weekend, there's some unpleasant news the health department needs to share with you. These stories and more coming up on The Edge.
The Edge at 11 starts now.
First, the summer of storms continues. You may hear some rumbles of thunder overhead tonight.
And with that rain, the threat of flooding. Captain Rich Luderman tracking the radar for us. Rich.
Taryn and Dave, you can clearly see these big storms close to Chicago right now. Also over the south end of Lake Michigan. They're still a few hours away from us, and I think a lot of this action is going to pass just to our south, at least the strongest of the storms. Now, if we zoom in with Sky Tracker, very heavy downpours around Chicago, also around Benton Harbor and St. Joseph, Michigan. So nothing around here. Saginaw is quiet. Cleveland is quiet. But in time, these storms are going to move to the east. Here's that tornado watch in yellow. There are some active severe storm and tornado warnings just south of Chicago right now. Earlier this evening, about an hour ago, Chicago O'Hare Airport saw a wind gust to 74 miles per hour. These are live pictures from O'Hare. Here's that flood watch in effect for the overnight because these storms have a history of producing torrential downpours. So we'll be watching that threat overnight. 87 degrees the high today, 71 the morning low. There are the numbers right now. 74 in Howe, 79 Windsor, 73 in Port Huron. The breeze is pretty light from the south. Temperatures around Chicago got knocked down 15 degrees with those storms. 80 in Fort Wayne, 73 in Buffalo. Watch this cold front. This is what's going to bring us a nice change starting tomorrow night as cooler air works in on a northwest flow. So we have a nice break coming with all the heat and the humidity we've seen this last few days. But here are the overnight storms. Mostly between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m., gusty winds and heavy downpours will be mixed in. Some localized flooding a possibility. The bullseye for severe weather is in that red and brown shade for Kalamazoo and Fort Wayne, not for Detroit. Overnight storms likely down to 72. We're back to 85 tomorrow. It's still warm and muggy, and there still could be some spotty storms. No severe weather expected on Tuesday. And then look at this. A nice cool down starting Wednesday, lasting through the weekend. Less humidity as well. We're going to check it all for you starting at 4 a.m. Remember, always get the latest forecast. You can check it right there in the Fox 2 weather app with the radar. Download it for free in the App Store or in Google Play. You can do it right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to determine our nominee for the office of Vice President of the United States, Senator JD Vance.
The wait is over. Ohio Senator JD Vance is Donald Trump's pick for vice president. Trump's former critic is now one of his closest allies as they push for control of the White House.
And tonight, former President Trump makes his first appearance in Saturday's assassination attempt as he enters the RNC to one of his favorite anthems, God Bless the USA. Trump is wearing a large bandage over his ear where he was shot and appears more subdued than his typical boisterous persona that we are used to seeing. Now, spirits are high on the first day of the Republican National Convention, though.
Fox's Sharon Crowley has more on Donald Trump officially receiving his nomination and his VP pick.
It is therefore my honor to nominate Ohio Senator JD Vance for the office of Vice President of the United States of America.
The big announcement confirmed on this first day of the Republican National Convention. Ohio's 39-year-old Senator JD Vance will be former President Trump's running mate. Trump first revealing his much-anticipated pick on Truth Social just 2 days after an attempt on his life. Senator Vance just spoke with Fox's Sean Hannity.
I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president, and he changed my mind.
On the convention floor earlier, it was Trump's son Eric who secured his father's nomination, announcing all Florida's Republican delegates went to Trump, officially putting him over the top.
For the greatest president that's ever lived, and that's Donald J. Trump, hereby declaring him the Republican nominee for President of the United States of America.
As for Senator Vance, he's aligned with Trump on his most conservative policies. Though still in his first term in the Senate, Senator Vance has had a quick rise to power in the Republican Party. He's served in the Marines and graduated from Yale Law School, but maybe best known for his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, that was made into a movie.
So what did they do?
Well, they fired me. What do you think they did?
In it, Vance describes being raised by his grandmother in Ohio and Kentucky while his mother battled an opioid addiction.
It was tough when I was dealing with it, but now I really do think it's a blessing because it's given me a perspective a lot of politicians don't have.
JD Vance is articulate. He has an excellent presence on television. He's going to be able to defend the Trump message and the vision of this campaign.
Sharon Crowley, Fox News.
Meanwhile, a federal judge in Florida tossed out Donald Trump's classified documents case. The judge says the Justice Department illegally appointed special counsel Jack Smith to lead the case. Smith's office says it will be appealing this decision. The former president was accused of illegally hoarding classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate after he left office and trying to cover it up. The Trump campaign suing our governor and our Secretary of State.
It all has to do with voter registration. Governor Whitmer and Jocelyn Benson are being sued, accused of illegally using federal offices as voter registration sites. That includes the VA and Small Business Administration locations. We spoke tonight to Jocelyn Benson, who says the state will continue to give veterans information on how to vote.
All that we did was create a URL for the state to provide for the VA and the Small Business Administration that they can post on their website, so citizens going to their website can see that, click on it, and register to vote. So I'm really proud, actually, of our partnerships. We'll stand up to defend them anywhere, and really I hope all of us can recognize the importance of ensuring everyone has access to voting information in moments like these.
Benson claims her team has yet to see the lawsuit and can't comment on the specific allegations. Well, it was a hot day, but access to the Belle Isle beach is denied.
That's because E. coli was found in the water, and now the health department wants visitors to monitor themselves for symptoms. Shireen Nathan had big plans Monday evening, but had to make some adjustments when she arrived at the public beach on Belle Isle.
See these orange? I'm like, well, what is this about? Didn't see no notification coming on. Yep. Don't see no sign saying why. It just says it's closed.
The beach was roped off, a flyer indicating that the water access is closed and there's a $500 fine if you're caught swimming. In fine print, the reason given: elevated bacteria in the water.
Because we saw the orange tape and we were kind of confused what was going on, so we looked it up online when it was closed.
Megan Elkins brought her young daughter to Belle Isle from Allen Park, hoping to cool off in the water.
I would have been upset if we would have had to pay, but we have the park pass.
Both ladies we spoke with say there appears to be a lack of signage as they entered the island.
But you quick to stop me. You quick to let me know I need a permit for this. I need to pay my $10. I need to drive right. Oh, you make sure you got those listed. But you can't tell me that the water may be a little bit tainted.
The Detroit Health Department also put a message out on social media to those who went swimming at Belle Isle over the weekend, letting them know that E. coli can lead to stomach illness, nausea, cramps, and other issues. They urge people to call a doctor if those symptoms last for more than 2 days. Shireen Nathan says she was here with her daughter and went swimming on Saturday.
The beach was full because, you know, it was like 93, 95.
Nathan says neither she nor her 17-year-old daughter feel sick, and they're hopeful they're in the clear. However, they do hope others don't unknowingly expose themselves to the bacteria.
And there's still no notification, so people are still in the water.
Yeah. And according to the health department, the water was tested back on July 10th and will stay closed until the E. coli in the water returns to safe levels.
All right. Well, also tonight, a mother and her 2 sons all killed in a crash in Lapeer County. The mother's co-workers at Pontiac City Hall are left in shock. 42-year-old Janae Sudith and her 12-year-old and 9-year-old sons were traveling on Lippincott Road Saturday night. Police say Sudith was trying to pass a slower driver when she lost control, hit a guardrail, and then flipped her car over right there into that creek. Sudith was the executive assistant to the Pontiac mayor, Tim Grimo.
Just a devastating loss. Words really can't express just how difficult this is.
Janae was a beautiful person, inside out, had an angelic voice, just a great spirit, awesome co-worker, awesome friend.
My co-worker Lori said something to her about a hat one day, and she actually just gave it to her. Just didn't even ask any questions, just gave him the hat. So, I mean, we're going to always remember her just a sweet person.
The city of Pontiac also sending out a heartfelt memorial on social media honoring Janae and her two sons, Mateo and Nilo. They say their untimely passing has left a void that words cannot express.
Also tonight, a child only 7 years old is recovering from a gunshot wound.
The little boy was shot in the chest overnight. As Fox's Dave Kinchin reports, the suspect on the run tonight.
Terrifying scene flooded with police in the early morning hours of Monday, July 15th.
Talking to my girlfriend, next thing you know, all I hear is one bang, one loud bang. I'm not sure what it was. It sounded like a shotgun.
Gunfire leaves a 7-year-old boy hurt at the Dearborn View Apartments in Inkster.
Next thing you know, I start hearing a girl scream, like a female screaming, "Help, call 911, call 911. Some dude comes running past me, asking if he's seen anybody run this way. I said no. He comes running back. 2 minutes later, like 5 cop cars pull up.
Police say they found the boy shot once in the chest. He got medical attention right away on scene before being rushed to the hospital.
And I thought it was like somewhere down the street, and then I looked and I seen like 20 police cars outside.
Neighbors say they heard a couple fighting before hearing a shot. Investigators are still looking into it and call the shooting the result of a reckless discharge inside of an apartment. Cops identified a person of interest who they believe was inside the apartment when the shooting took place, but they hope anyone with information will give them a call. Meantime, neighbors are still processing all of the drama.
I just think that people should just better protect children, always.
I really think it's just, you always have to second guess and just be cautious now because you never know.
And at the latest check, Inkster police say the 7-year-old is in critical but stable condition. Dave Kinchin on The Edge.